All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Let's talk about sleep. Are you a night owl? Are you an early bird? There's a new study out of McGill University that suggests those labels might be way too simple. Researchers have found that there aren't just two sleep types. There are actually 5 distinct biological sleep profiles, each linked to different health and behavior patterns. Using artificial intelligence, the team discovered that some night owls are more prone to depression or heart issues. Others perform better on cognitive tests. Even early birds, you're not all the same. One group showed strong overall health, while another had higher links to mental health challenges. Let's talk a little bit more about this. We head over to Dr. Arsenio Paez, Executive Director of the Canadian Sleep Society. Dr. Paez, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I am a lifelong dyed-in-the-wool night owl, and there's nothing that can change it for me. I am a night owl.
Okay, so you are a night owl. I would say the same thing. Like, left to my own devices, I would probably go to bed at 2 a.m., but I'm not left to my own devices. I got to work in the morning. But what type of night owl are you? And does this research of McGill University lead you down a path that, you might be a certain type of night owl?
Well, I mean, I think what I love with this study is that it complicates a story that we thought we knew. We always have a tendency to try and simplify things, and it kind of clears that up. I think saying that there's only one type of night owl and one type of morning person is like saying people are either tall or they're short. Well, you can be tall, medium tall, you can be in the middle, you can be tall for short, short for tall. I think the important thing about this is that it just gives us more info. It looks under the hood and gives us much more information and shows us that there are different ways of being a night owl or different ways of being a morning person. Two people can say that they're both night owls, but they have a different experience of sleep and a different way of of dealing with daily life. And I think that's the really important thing. I would say to people, don't get too obsessed about, I'm a type this night owl. Oh my goodness, I'm going to develop all these issues. It's more really about how well you sleep, even depending whether you sleep later or whether you sleep, or you like to be in sleep earlier. It's really more about how well you sleep more than those.
And of course, it seems like, and it may not be your entire life, but everyone at some point in their life will have difficulty sleeping.
Absolutely.
I wonder how this type of research can help you, can help people that are dealing with sleep issues.
Well, I think what it does is it really draws more attention, and I think in a great way of saying, hey, look, we all have our own individual experience of sleep. And it definitely changes. When you're kids, when you're anyone with kids or teenagers, I know my niece and nephew were like vampires when they were teenagers. They didn't see daylight unless I forced them to. When you're younger, you fall asleep earlier. As you get into your teenage and adolescent years, you want to stay up all night. As you get into your adult years, that changes. As you get older adults tend to fall asleep earlier and wake up earlier. So that changes over as we change, as we develop. But I think what's great about this is it draws attention to, what's important here. Is it whether you really like to go to sleep later or like to go to sleep earlier, or is it how well you sleep? And what I would say to people always, if you wake up refreshed, you're doing fine. If you can be in bed for 8 hours and still feel exhausted in the morning, then something's wrong. Some people get to sleep for 6 hours and feel very refreshed. That's working for them. I think that's what it really is important. It draws attention to their different experiences of sleep and different ways of sleeping. But what matters is, do you feel refreshed when you wake up?
Now, as I mentioned off the top here, some of this research showing what they discovered that some night owls are prone to depression or prone to heart issues. Early birds, some are prone to higher links for mental health issues. That almost sounds like definitive. Like, hey, you're this type of early bird. This is going to happen to you. Is it that set in stone?
No, and that's actually something in a way that they're not saying, because what they're saying is, look, it's not necessarily that one is inherently unhealthy and the other one is more healthy. An important thing to remember with any of these studies is what they're looking at is, okay, look at people who happen to have this way of sleeping, and let's see, are there things that are associated with that? It doesn't mean that if you're a night owl, that will cause you to develop mental health issues. What it means, though, is that some people who are night owls or some people who are certain kind of early birds, they may have more of these issues, but it's not necessarily whether they go to sleep late or early. It's the quality of their sleep. Because, for example, your brain loves patterns. It likes to be regular. So if you're someone, for example, who's going to sleep a different amount of hours every night at different times, it's kind of like jet lag without the plane ride. So it really what matters the most is not to look at this and think, oh my word, I'm a night owl, I'm going to develop prostate cancer. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that, look, there are different ways of being a night owl or a morning person, and it draws attention to how important sleep is for health. It's really showing us, hey, sleep is tied into a lot of your general health, much more than we thought. What really matters, though, is just make sure you sleep well, that you wake up refreshed. If you're a night owl, if you're a morning person, what really matters is you wake up refreshed. But there are different ways of being that.
How important is it that I actually follow my body? As I mentioned, like left to my own devices, I'd probably be a 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. sleeper if I could just have my way. But I don't do that because I got to work. How important is it that someone try and find, whether it's the career or the lifestyle that allows them to sleep in their appropriate pattern?
And that would be the ideal, right? I have the same problem. I'm a night owl as long as the day is long. It was great when I was doing overnight sleep research, but it's not really easy when I have meetings in the morning. I think ideally it'd be great to be able to tailor your sleep to the life that you have, or the life that you have to your sleep. But we all have these social pressures, and we've seen this more after the pandemic, for example, and with sort of the social media world that we live in. That we have all these pressures. There's this sort of the social expectation to be very productive and on at certain times. And then there's your actual biological clock saying, you know what, I realize you have work to do, but I'm shutting you down. It's time to go to sleep. That's a hard one. But I think for, the most important thing for people is try to make your sleep work well with the life that you have. If you can modify aspects of your life to help your sleep, your health will thank you. Mm-hmm. To make sure that you wake up refreshed as best you can, doing the best you can with the life you have. Because realistically, life makes it hard. It makes it hard for us to get sleep.
Totally. But I keep bringing it back to what you said about, are you waking up refreshed? I mean, that's really the thing. Because me, I'm waking up now, at 6:30, let's say, but I don't have trouble waking up at 6:30, so that tells me that, okay, at least I'm doing something okay on that respect.
Exactly. If you wake up refreshed and you feel like, oh, good, I can tackle my day, you're in great shape. If you wake up exhausted, no matter how long you were in bed, you could have been in there for 10 hours. If you wake up exhausted, you didn't sleep well.
Dr. Paez,
not the clock. Yeah.
Can I throw one thing at you? I got a text message from a listener. They sound like they need some help here. I'm going to throw something at you. You may not be able to help, but I'll try anyways because it seems like our listener's desperate here, okay? So they write this. I had sleep apnea surgery 6 months ago. I still wake up tired and feel tired throughout the day as if I didn't have the surgery. Can you give some help here, Dr. Paez? I know I'm throwing this at you there, and it may not be fair, but is there something you could say to this listener?
Well, it could be that other things other than the sleep apnea are interfering with sleep. So the important thing there to be, well, one thing would be try and keep like a log. See, how many days a week am I feeling this way? Am I waking up every day feeling this way? Was there something different about Tuesday? Was I really stressed or worried or before I went to bed? Sometimes people will also get very worried. Oh, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm not going to be able to sleep. And it creates a lot of sort of their mind races before sleep, and it interferes with them kind of gently going off to sleep. But if you're finding that it may be important to contact your primary health care provider again, just to make sure that there's nothing else interfering with sleep. It could be that the sleep apnea was not the only thing that was sort of, interfering. It's always important, though, have this conversation with your doctor, with your surgeon, with your nurse, with your primary care physician, with a sleep specialist, because it could be that there are other things there. And it also may take a while. For some people, it takes a while to reset a lifelong of habits. Sleep is filled with habits. It's not just biological. It's also kind of, psychological. So there may be other things that might be helpful at this point to help her improve the listener's sleep.
Dr. Paez, thanks for letting me squeeze that one in, and thank you so much for your time. A great discussion. You're a great talker on sleep, and you know what? You don't put anyone to sleep while you talk about sleep, so I love it.
That's good. That's important.
Dr. Paez, come back real soon, okay?
I will. Thanks. Good sleeping, everybody.
That's Dr. Arsenio Paez, Executive Director of the Canadian Sleep Society.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.